Welcome back, disciples, to Discipleship Ministries. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I hope that you are having an amazing week so far and God is just continually pouring out His blessings upon you. I am so excited for today's video. I believe God is just giving me a word that is going to change lives. Each time I know you're probably like, you say that each and every time. I believe that each word that God gives me, I do not bring forth a message on this channel or in any capacity that I preach to people or I talk to people. I do not believe that I give in any capacity something that is not going to affect somebody's life. And that is what we're called to do. We are called to affect somebody, to impact somebody's life in a better way than where they were 5 seconds before we talked to them. We are called to impact them and spread the love of Jesus Christ to change their lives for the better. So that's what I do. I say that every week, and I'm going to continue to say it because I believe that every message I bring forth is going to change your life if you really let it sink in, if you're really listening. I don't know who it's for. I never know who it's for. I never care really who it's for. Not necessarily I don't care, but you could say it's not for me. I know that it's someone. It's for someone, and it is speaking not only to my life, but it's speaking to yours. So I thank you so much once again for watching. We're going to be in Daniel chapter 6, and we're going to be reading Daniel and his story in the lion's den. And I just want to recap part of the first story. And really, what you see here is just a obvious love of God. So Daniel is a high apprentice to King Darius, and Daniel, is close to these people. And there's a group of administrators, they called the perfects, and they are advisors and governors, and they all got together and they were looking at Daniel. They were looking at him and they were trying to find blame because they didn't really like Daniel. They thought he was stuck up, probably. I don't know. They were like, we don't like him. So they were trying to come up with something to get him thrown in prison, to get him dethroned, de-elected. They wanted him gone. They were trying to find misconduct for Daniel, and they were trying so hard to get him thrown in prison, and they wanted all this stuff. So they thought of this grand plan. They thought, hey, Daniel serves God. He prays to him. What if we make a decree that the only person that you are allowed to bow down and pray and worship is King Darius himself? So Daniel's still praying even after the decree is said. The perfects, the advisors, go to King Darius and they're like, hey, you put this decree in order. Daniel still's praying. And the king, knowing who Daniel is, knowing he's trustworthy, is like, oh my gosh, they tricked me. They got me. So he's distressed. He's upset. But finally he said, okay. And they threw him in a lion's den. And that's where our story picks up. He goes the night. And King Darius is like, I really don't want this to happen. He tells them he says, may your God whom you serve continually rescue you. So we're going to start in verse 19. It says, and this is the first night of the lion's den. They've just thrown him in there. This is that morning after. Let's figure out what happens. Did God save him? It says, at the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to rescue you from the lions? Verse 21 says, Daniel answered, may the king live forever. May my God send his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your majesty. See, this is such an amazing story. It is one of my favorites in the Bible, and I think the reason that is because Daniel was faithful even to a fault, even when being thrown, even to a point where his faith had him put to death, basically. A death-defying situation. I mean, and a lot of people in the early church, in the early Jesus ministry days, after Jesus rose again and went back to heaven, in those days, a lot of people died for Jesus. A lot of people became martyrs to Christianity. And we're lucky and we're fortunate that not a lot of that goes on here mainly in America. There are other parts where you will be killed for your belief system, but we're lucky that we have that freedom here in America, and I'm blessed to be that way. But Daniel served God even when it put him to death. What I really want to point out is that God was faithful, and God delivered him because he was faithful to him. See, God was faithful to Daniel because Daniel was faithful to him. There was faith, there was trust built throughout their relationship. See, Daniel knew God he spent time with. He knew the God that he served. He knew the God he worshiped. He knew the God he prayed to. He knew the God that spoke to him on a daily basis. And each and every day. See, Daniel knew God. So I'd ask you to really evaluate yourself today. And ask yourself, do I know God? Do I know who he is? Do I have the relationship with God like Daniel had with God? And I want you to continue to think about that, but this is a really cool thing, and I really want you to think about it because a lot of us in 2020 we're probably not literally being thrown in a lion's den, but we're not being thrown in a physical lion's den. But have you ever been thrown into a situation that was crazy? I mean, how many times in our lives could we say that we've been in a season of our life where it has all been crazy and we feel like hell has just broken out against us? See, that is our lion's den. See, the lion's den represents a place where, there are just big, scary, crazy. This is a rough house. This is a full of just despair. It is a crazy situation that you do not think you're going to make it out of alive. I don't know if you've ever seen a lion face to face. I haven't, but I wouldn't want to because I would be scared to death, right? Maybe your workplace is a lion's den. Maybe sometimes even your household is a lion's den. But what I want to remind you is that if you keep the faith, if you can stand firm on the promises of God, even when a roaring lion is looking you up and down like he's about to eat you for lunch, you can dance in the lion's den. You can dance in faith knowing that God is going to take care of you. God is going to get you out of it. And it may not look like it. The lion may have you backed up into a corner and you are scared to death. But if you just keep the faith and believe in your God, in our God, he will deliver you. And at the end of it, you'll be praising him just like Daniel was, saying that my God sent an angel. How many of you need an angel in your lion's den today? How many of you need an angel to come and shut the mouths of your lions? Because I know that it's in the lion's den that God is truly asking the hard questions. Do you trust him? I hope that this message has blessed you, and I hope it's reminded you that we serve a God that shuts the mouths of lions. We serve a God who is not threatened by the enemy. We serve a God who is not threatened by anything that could go on in our life. He knows all, he is all, and he knows all. And he is all powerful, and he can deliver us from any harm. And what I want to remind you, and I get this question a lot, is if God, God's all knowing, God's all powerful, why do we have to go through things? And I actually watched a video, and it was an amazing video. And the speaker said, because God cares more about your character than your comfort. Whew, that's good right there. Because how many of us can attest that we go through trials, we go through lion's dens, we stand in the midst of our lion's den in life, but God is there for us, and we know that he is teaching us, and we are building character. We are building upon our life, and we are building our relationship with him. Truthfully, it's when I'm in danger that I learn to trust God. It's when when I should feel like I have no faith, that I have to have faith. I have to learn how to have more faith in the seasons of my life that are calling for all my faith. In the seasons of my life that are calling for obedience, I have to have to learn how to have more obedience. See, He is building our character. So I want to encourage you today to just continue to trust in God, and He will deliver you from your lion's den. I thank you so much for watching. Make sure you share this video with a friend. Share this ministry with somebody who you just want to bless. I thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.